Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We got Grayscale looking for that ETF fight. We got the XRP Ledger FUD. We got Fox Business, Gasparino, and Clayman on the court and the SEC hearing yesterday. You're going to want it. SEC officials not included in the Hinman drafts. We'll talk about that. New crypto bill. We got to go over that. Rostam Benen's thoughts, and Susan Friedman from Ripple, and J.W. Verrett, former SEC advisor. Cindy Young gives us the winning recipe for Ripple. David Schwartz says the Fed could take control of Ripple's private ledger. That's right. Roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen, and everything that we're talking about here today. $1.3 trillion market cap. We're up 2.8% this morning. Good morning. It's June 8, 2022. Bitcoin 30,000 plus right now. Ethereum 1,800, slightly above. And XRP is at 39 cents. Shout out to Cardano at 64 cents this morning, and Charles Hoskin and the whole team there. I'm a fan. We see we're ranging between 39 cents on the bottom, 42 cents on the top. Ladies and gentlemen, I am buying fine art, and you can too, from Masterworks. You can buy shares in some of the most amazing art and artist works in the world through Masterworks at $20 a pop. That's right. It's amazing what they're doing, and all of the artists that they're currently offering right here. Look at the similar appreciation that they get. 17% plus, 15, 22.8 from Banksy in the house, 22.7 right there. This is really what I love. And look how quickly they fill up and how quickly they're becoming vested. Not much room left on that Banksy if you want to get that similar appreciation of 22 plus. No guarantees there, but I tell you this, it is outperforming the S&P however you look at it. And that is exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Now, make sure you check out the link underneath the video for that. Take a look at this. Grayscale is in a fight for the Grayscale TC to be an ETF. They have retained the services of Donald B. Verrilli, Jr., former Solicitor General of the United States, as additional legal counsel. And the reason they've done it is because they want to ensure that they have the strongest possible team of legal minds ready to support the BTC ETF application. Verrilli will serve as senior legal strategist, working alongside our attorneys and in-house counsel. He is one of the nation's most experienced attorneys with deep understanding of legal theory, administrative procedure, and the practical matters of working with the judiciary branch. Over the course of his career, he has argued more than 50 cases before the United States Supreme Court. This guy is a heavy hitter. It's the definition of a heavy hitter. And I believe Grayscale is sending that message to the SEC that we are not giving up. We want to get approved here, and we are not going to stop even if we have to go all the way to the Supreme Court to get it done. I'll tell you who else won't stop either. It's the former developer for XRP Labs here, and it's Matt Hamilton. XRP Ledger is decentralized as he shuts down some FUD here from James Shuttleworth, who says XRP is centralized cop-out offered to institutions to avoid Bitcoin taking over, he says. Officially being presented as a commodity where it belongs, did mankind just merge the trading of hard goods with digital notes through the Lightning Network? Change my mind, he says. Well, I could change your mind. I want you to go to El Salvador, and I don't want you to have any cash. I only want you to have Bitcoin, and you're not allowed to accept food from anybody until your actual transactions go through. And I think it won't take you very long to figure it out on your own. Right here, Matt Hamilton, however, says in a very polite way, the XRP Ledger is decentralized and usable by anyone. The XRP Ledger was first networked to allow tokenization of other assets and a decentralized exchange known as a DEX to trade them on. The XRP Ledger was the first blockchain to have gold issued on it. Uh-oh. Hello, dropping truth bombs up in here. Yeah, on a Wednesday, no less. Come on in. Now, let's keep this moving, because this here is, we have the update here from Fox Business News on the hearing from yesterday, which absolutely did not go well. If you're not sure what happened in that, watch my first video. I got all the information you're going to need and so much more, but it did not go well for the SEC. Take a listen to this clip. Shout out to Tim.
The price of cryptocurrency XRP is jumping about 2.6% at this hour as a key conference in Manhattan in a courtroom just got underway involving the judge who's presiding over the landmark lawsuit between the Securities and Exchange Commission and crypto cross-borders payments platform Ripple. A decision today could help bring a resolution to the case possibly this year. Charlie Gasparino, what's latest?
We should point out that my producer, Ellie Tarrant, has a piece out explaining the whole case, what's at stake in very great detail on foxbusiness.com. So if you want to go get the, we're going to give you the Cliff Note version here, but that's the more detailed piece. I mean, listen, this is a huge, event in this case. The case is important because it's going to determine how much, authority you could say that the SEC has in regulating crypto. If they beat Ripple, if they're allowed to say that it's XRP cryptocurrency, which had sold back in, I think, 2018, several years ago, and over a period of time, sold that to finance the platform, that crypto is actually a security that went unregistered because they didn't register with the SEC like Ether, like Bitcoin, then they possibly could go into a broader enforcement agenda. They could go theoretically after Ether, and Ethereum has the Ether crypto is native to the Ethereum blockchain, one of the biggest blockchains. I think we're talking about $240 billion worth of Ethereum trades right now. So this is a huge thing. If the SEC wins, there could be other cases involving those bigger cryptos. What's at stake today is Ripple's motion to get documents out of the SEC, see what essentially I would say somewhat controversial, but very confidential documents about the inner workings of the SEC and how they deliberated on making XRP a security, specifically how they relate to the speech of a guy named Bill Hinman, former head of corporation finance at the SEC. He was the guy that first said Ether and Bitcoin are okay. They don't come under SEC rule regulation, but everybody else is suspect. And not long after that, XRP went under Ripple, and XRP faced an SEC investigation. And in 2 years after that, essentially, they filed their case seeking.
That's exactly right. And not only that, like I said, the hearing did not go well for the SEC yesterday. You do not have to be a lawyer to know that. We will see what happens with the judge, but the judge showed up in a very big way. I believe this is the article that was being referenced if you do want to read it. What I want to highlight in here is simply this, because throughout all of this, I just want to show you that there were a lot of SEC commissioners that were left out
Introducing stocks
of
by the
this
slice
entire
from
email draft of William Hinman's speech that gave the free pass back in 2018. Hester Peirce was left out, Michael Pawar, we see Kara Stein, and we see Robert Jackson. When asked by Ripple lawyers why the other four commissioners were not included in the Hinman draft email chain, Hinman said that he didn't feel that their input would be worth the extra delay. Ooh, what a slap in the face that is. Let alone, it also points to the Title V or Title VIII within the SEC that I believe William Hinman knew he was going to be making some kind of a decision that would benefit his personal gain. I do believe that, and I believe we've seen enough evidence to support that as well. Now, on the other front, we had the crypto legislation introduced by Senator Loomis and Senator Gillibrand. Now, there's many things that are important about all of this. I'm going to overview it very quickly. One is that the senators are on, I believe it's either banking or financial committee, and the other one's on the agriculture committee. These are two extremely extremely important committees to be on in order to get legislation passed. So this is something to take very serious. I have done a thorough look through the legislation, and I must say there is a lot to like about it. When you're talking about reporting documents and disclosures and things of that nature, compliance issues, consumer protection things that are in there, it covers everything from soup to nuts. There's no doubt about it. However, there are still, as any, whether we're talking about regulations from the SEC, like the Howey test, which is certainly can be interpreted any way you'd like because it's vague in certain areas. You know, you can also see that there are sections within the bill that has a vagueness to it where the bill doesn't concern me as much as who is going to interpret it. So we're going to keep an eye on that. The other thing is I haven't seen Brad Garlinghouse come out and like completely say, we endorse this bill. This bill is amazing, like we have with the DCEA, the Digital Commodities Exchange Act. But we will hear from a Ripple executive in just in a moment. And right here is them discussing it as they go on tour to push the bill, which is Senator Loomis and Gillibrand and what they've done and the work that has gone into it. Rostin Benham gives an endorsement basically discussing here that it's smart, sensible regulation will protect consumers and bring certainty to the marketplace. Again, like I said, there's a lot in here to like about this bill. Susan Friedman from Ripple, right, head of Ripple policy on the Digital Pound Foundation, critical to see legislative efforts that push forward regulatory clarity for all Americans. This bill from Senator Loomis and Senator Gillibrand, which draws upon key provisions of the Digital Commodities Exchange Act, further confirms that crypto is truly bipartisan. So stop short of a full endorsement, but it also highlights that there's key provisions that from the bill that they did like from the DCEA that is obviously in here as well. Again, another comment here from former SEC advisor J.W. Verrett, who says the ancillary asset token section approach is twisted into so many doctrinal knots that it won't work. We end up with something that's potentially worse than the Howey test. This is pointing to the vibe that I got out of it. The consumer protection sections are also non-starter for Republican support. We got to redo those sections. But if that's the only two areas that really are the biggest trouble areas, there is, like I said, everything soup to nuts in this bill has been covered. But with that being said, if they can work these, because it's a draft, a place, a starting point, just a jump off point, this could be hammered out. And can they get it passed before November? That's the next question to see what happens there. And we're still waiting to hear from Brad Garlinghouse as an endorsement of this bill, which we have yet to hear as of yet. So we'll keep you tuned on that. However, this is Cindy Young, managing director from Ripple in Europe and the UK. And she's sitting down and talking on this about clarity and what is the winning recipe for Ripple. Take a listen.
I mean, at Ripple, we're really focused on the long-term utility, not the volatility. Since the early days, we've really focused on solving real-world problems with crypto and blockchain technologies, particularly around cross-border payments, addressing things like transparency, cost, speed, reliability, and we've built a very strong cross-border network based out of that. So I think we remain to be really bullish on that crypto-enabled future for financial services.
I can see the laser focus on strategy, but given valuations have been hit so badly across the sector, even major crypto companies are laying off staff at this point. Is it much more difficult to go out there and raise money now if you need cash?
Look, last 18 months have been the strongest periods for us ever. We've doubled our payments network. We have hundreds of customers with a payment flow run rate of over $15 billion today. So we continue to see strong demand because, again, we are solving real-world problems, real pain points with these technologies.
What's jumped out in recent years, the amount of fintech companies all seemingly doing something similar, whether it's in the crypto space or if it's in the buy now, pay later space. There's a lot of mimicking of business models. Do you think some of the competition is going to fall away because of this difficult backdrop we're talking about?
Yeah, I think, in times like this, obviously still early stages, right? The crypto and blockchain technologies have been in just over 10 years. There's a lot of innovation happening. We see a massive, talents moving from traditional finance into this space. A lot of funding, which does mean it's a great environment to be innovating. Does that mean everybody's going to survive? Of course not, right? That is part of the innovation. Some will, some not. And it's very hard to know, who are the winners and losers. But I think if you focus on, again, solving the real world problems, solving pain points, that's a winning recipe.
Let's just talk about that, because
that is the winning recipe right there. Sandy Young bringing it home. And you can watch the rest of that either on Leonidas' channel. Shout out to him. And shout out to Riz for sending me the clip over too, by the way. But now let's get into this, because I've covered this before, but there's a great video you should go watch, and it's from On the Chain. Shout out to Jeff and Chip. And you should go watch that video. And shout out to Steve Bronson for sending it to me. But here is where we see the response that went on. This is from a couple years ago, but it is the question being asked, and we have talked about it a lot here on this channel, but I think it's worth revisiting because of where we are today, and I'll tell you why in a second. Since XRP is working alongside the established financial system, is it plausible that the U.S. Federal Reserve may take ownership of XRP and the Ripple network, becoming XRP kind of a digital U.S. dollar? Well, David Schwartz responded on July 3rd, 2 years ago, and it was 2020. Says they could take possession of Ripple's private network, but there's really no way they could take possession of XRP or the XRP ledger. Let's talk about that much right there, because it's decentralized, and you can't take possession of it because it is decentralized, right? But this is where I tell you, he says it's a public resource operated by people all over the globe. Exactly. But that's not how governments will take over something if they want to take it over. They won't literally take possession of the item itself. It's software. It's open source, like he said. The way they take ownership over it is through regulation of the activities on it and how you get on and off of it. This is what has been the conversation here on this channel, and with even like people like former CFTC chairman, crypto dad, Chris Giancarlo, when he talked about the idea that you could regulate the activities on these networks. Brian Brooks even. Just the way a cop monitors a highway for speeding and erratic driving, right? A car with a wrong license plate or out of registration on it. Suspicious activities. This is how the government, or a la a private bank like the Federal Reserve, which is not the government, which is why I believe the U.S. Treasury may still play a role in FSOC and OFAC in this for these particular payment protocols that will be used to move money and may find themselves designated as when something is a note, meaning money, a value protocol like the decentralized exchange, XRP ledger, and the XRP token could get a designation that really sets it outside of the bill that has currently been introduced, possibly. We don't know. We got to keep an open mind. He goes on to say that, to his question about the U.S. Federal Reserve, they could create their own copy of the system. Well, we know that there is a Ripple private ledger already that's been created for central banks around the world, just as they could with any other public ledger system, but then they'd have to compete with systems like Bitcoin and the XRP ledger. If the value of these systems comes from their decentralization, then why would people want to use one owned by the Federal Reserve? Such a great point. They don't have to. They can keep it remained as a private ledger for the central bank and settling derivatives and things wholesale back end that doesn't involve retail or citizens. And the open source public ledger, XRP ledger, is still available to everyone in the world because, as David Schwartz has told us, it is a public good. That's going to do it for me. This is unbelievable. This is the most fascinating thing I've ever followed in my life. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Check out all the links underneath the video. I'll catch you on the next one.